On my wedding day, my 22-year-old stepdaughter handed me a wish list. Meet 3 of my conditions. First, only then will I start calling you Mom. Second, give me the car you got as a dowry. Third, pay for me to study abroad in the United Kingdom. And once you marry my dad, you are not allowed to have any children. I refused. My husband's face instantly darkened. He declared that if I didn't agree, the wedding was off. But later on, their entire family regretted it to their very bones. I looked around the shabby bridal chamber, feeling a growing sense of unease in my heart. This place was an apartment in Jiang Man's company dormitory. It was incredibly old, and the rooms reeked of that musty, moldy smell, unique to rundown buildings. Aside from the big red double happiness character pasted on the front door, there wasn't a single decoration in sight. Even the trash can in the corner was overflowing, with half-eaten bags of potato chips spilling out. Yet, before the wedding, Chen Sixi had confidently patted her chest and promised me that she would decorate the bridal chamber beautifully. She had even taken 8,000 yuan from me as a decoration fee. So where on earth did she spend that 8,000 yuan? Chen Sixi was Chen Mingwen's only daughter. She had just graduated from college this year, the 22. Actually, Chen Mingwen had never been married before. Back when he first started college, he dated a girl from another city. The girl came from a poor family. After failing her high school exams, she ended up working in an electronics factory. Chen Mingwen's parents were extremely displeased with her and constantly pressured him to break up. But to their surprise, the girl got pregnant and refused to get an abortion. She insisted on keeping the baby and marrying Chen Mingwen. She thought that once they had a child, the Chen family would have to agree to their marriage. Little did she know, Chen's mother resolutely refused to back down, preferring to pay child support every month rather than let them marry. In a fit of rage, the girl gave birth, dumped the baby with Chen Mingwen, and ran off to Shenzhen to work. Although the Chen family didn't like the mother, they absolutely doted on this granddaughter of theirs. Kat Fengwen also felt deeply indebted to his daughter and completely spoiled her rotten. The bride is so beautiful. The Chen family relatives all crowd around to look at me. I can't keep a cold face anymore, so I can only force a tight smile. Oh, please. My dad is the one who's actually handsome. Even though Auntie Jiang is 8 years younger than him, she looks more like his older sister. Auntie Jiang, my dad was the resident heartthrob at his firm. You really hit the jackpot. Chen Sixi's words make everyone burst into laughter. Chen Mingwen is only 40 years old this year. He works at a design institute with a stable career and a secure state-owned enterprise job. He takes good care of himself, works out regularly, and definitely looks a lot younger than other men his age. He's sharp-featured, tall, standing out head and shoulders above his pot-bellied, greasy colleagues. But no matter how young he looks, he's still 40. And I'm only 32. Chen Shenya's words are clearly stepping on me to boost him up. My smile fades, and I shoot her a cold, brief glance. All right, I believe you. All right. Let's not crowd around here. It's time for the bride to serve tea to her in-laws. Guided by my bridesmaid, I walk over to Chen's parents, who are already seated on the sofa. 2 red kneeling cushions are placed on the floor. Chen Mingwen kneels down willingly, tugging at my hand, wanting me to kowtow to his parents with him. I don't budge. I just stand there, looking at him in utter confusion. Didn't you say we were having a modern wedding? That we wouldn't do any of those backward traditional rituals? Quite right. The groom is supposed to pick up the bride from her family home, then bid farewell to her parents there. Back then, I wanted to kneel and serve tea to my own parents, but Chen Mingwen refused. He said he hated kneeling to anyone, and that these outdated traditional rituals should be abolished. Since it was our wedding day, my parents were afraid we'd start a fight, so they quickly stepped in to smooth things over. No need to kneel, no need to kneel. None of us need to kneel. It's fine for our son-in-law to just stand and offer tea. After all, it's a new era with new rules, right? Haha. I never expected that Chen Mingwen wasn't actually being progressive. He just didn't want to kneel to my parents. If he wouldn't kneel to my parents, then why on earth should I kneel to his? Seeing me standing there, completely still, Chen Mingwen, his face gradually darkened.
Thelma, what are you doing?
You aren't seriously still mad about what happened at your place, are you? A man's knees are worth gold, don't you get it? I can't just kneel down to anyone. But you're different. You're a woman. Now that you're marrying into my family, kneeling before your in-laws is only natural. His impatient look almost made me think I was looking at a complete stranger. Was this chauvinistic jerk really the same gentle and attentive Chen Mingwen I used to know? How could someone completely change the second they get married? Chen Mingwen and I were introduced by a friend. After our first dinner together, he began pursuing me relentlessly. Every single morning, without fail, he would send me a bouquet of fresh flowers. He even kept track of my monthly cycle and would bring me homemade brown sugar ginger tea whenever I was on my period. I patiently observed him, for 1 whole year. Only after I was absolutely sure he was a caring, understanding, and responsible man did I finally agree to be with him. But the man standing in front of me right now feels like a total stranger. Oh, come on. What's this about offering the tea of respect? If you want to call us grandpa, grandma, mom, and dad, you've got to pass my test first. Only after I change how I address her. Cannot Jiang change how she addresses you guys.
称称重称是退服
and pulled Chen Mingwen back.
Dad, don't be in such a rush. Didn't you get married just to find a stepmother to take care of me? So the most important thing is that she makes me happy. With that, Chen Qian pulled out a red sheet of paper covered in writing, cleared her throat, and began to read. Aunt Jiang must meet my 3 conditions. Only then will I actually call you Mom. First, buy me the latest model Mercedes. Second, pay to send me to the United Kingdom to study. Third, after you marry my dad, you are absolutely not allowed to have kids. The entire room fell dead silent.
Chen's mother smiled and patted Qianqian's hand. Oh, you silly girl.
You're always full of these crazy ideas. Chen's father nodded along, agreeing. Ken makes a good point. It doesn't matter if we accept her as our daughter-in-law. What really matters is that Chen accepts her as her new mother. I was so angry, I almost laughed out loud. I am marrying Chen Mingwen to be his wife, not to play mommy to Chen Qian. Besides, Chen is already 22 years old. She's graduated from college. What kind of care does she still need? In another 2 years, she could get married and have kids of her own. Who is she trying to fool? Acting like some helpless little baby. Seeing my face darken in silence.
请领我是要复活，而不是仅有个阿妈说的。
Your new mom is incredibly generous. She'll definitely agree to these tiny requests. As for the Mercedes, there's no need to buy a brand new one. Your mom just spent 600,000 yuan on one last month. She bought it as part of her dowry. So, we'll just give that car to you. Unbelievable. So they had their eyes on my car all along. No wonder back when we were car shopping, Chen Mingwen kept egging me on, insisting that I buy the most expensive one. He even said a dowry represents a woman's pride, and that if the car was expensive, his relatives would respect me more. After graduating college, I started my own business, running a cross-border e-commerce company. Even though I've made quite a fortune over the years, I've never been one for extravagant spending. Originally, I was planning to buy a simple 200,000 yen electric car just to commute. But under Chen Mingwen's endless persuasion, I upgraded the electric car to a Mercedes, thinking that since I'd be driving it anyway, centering myself to a nice car wouldn't hurt. The stuff nonsense. Your father is still young. He can still give you a baby brother. Chen's father furrowed his brow.
许少千的五营可来。
Chen's mother, Jiang Man, quickly covered Qianqian's mouth and hissed. You can't just talk nonsense like that. How can your dad not have a son? Who's going to take care of him when he's old?
千玄枪炮道。
Her face full of resentment. I knew you guys favored boys over girls. So what if he doesn't have a son? I'll take care of my dad. I don't care. I won't allow dad to have another kid. If he has a second child, he won't spoil me anymore. He won't be my dad, and my dad alone. Besides, how do you even know Jiang Man can give you a son? What if she only has daughters? Chen Mingwen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Mom, Dad, what are you even talking about? Having Chen Qian is more than enough for me in this lifetime. Why would I need a son? Chen's father wanted to argue, but Chen's mother stopped him with a sharp glare. She absolutely doted on her son and didn't want to embarrass him in front of so many guests. I turned my head and shot Chen Mingwen a deeply meaningful look. His parents had no idea Chen Mingwen suffered from a low sperm count. He had long lost his ability to have children. As for me, I'm a dink. I'd only married him because I knew he'd never force me to get pregnant. Only then was Chen satisfied. She flashed Chen Mingwen a sweet smile. I knew my dad was the best. She then snapped the piece of paper in her hand, making it rustle loudly. Auntie Jiang, sign it. Once you sign, I'll serve you tea and call you Mom. I took the red paper, stared at it for a moment, and then, right under her disbelieving eyes, I ripped the paper to shreds. Sign? Sign my ass. Who do you think I am? You're Aladdin's lamp? You think you can just make wishes on me? Chen Sixi was stunned. Once she realized what happened, she flew into a rage.
Jiang Man, do you believe I can make 假度术语？坏鸟。
Already on your second marriage. If my dad dumps you, you'll be on your third marriage. You'll never get married for the rest of your life. You're just a second-hand divorcee. My dad has never been married, so marrying him is way out of your league. And when you're marrying up, you have to pay the price. Otherwise, why on earth would I let you set foot in our house? She got angrier and angrier as she spoke, practically shoving her finger right in my face. Jiang, don't push your luck. When I was 27, I had a very brief marriage. Just 2 weeks after the wedding, my husband's ex-girlfriend showed up at our door in tears, begging me to let him go. She claimed that if she couldn't be with the man she loved, she would slit her wrists and end her life. My ex-husband was shocked, but deeply moved. After hesitating for only 3 seconds, he fell to his knees and begged me to let them be together. He even told me he only married me because his parents liked me, and that he had never really gotten over his ex. And just like that, in the span of 2 short weeks, my status went from single to married, and then from married to divorced. My ex-husband's father was an old friend of my dad's. He was so consumed by shame and guilt that after the divorce, not only did he refuse to take back the bride price I tried to return,
But he also bought me a full set of gold jewelry to apologize.
as far as I was concerned, this whole thing was just a minor epi. Think. I didn't feel like being divorced made me any less of a person, nor did I think there was anything special about never having been married. So, when I first found out that Chen Mingwen had a daughter, I didn't mind at all. After all, it was Chen Mingwen and I who were going to build a life together. His daughter would have her own family someday. So having another relative around wasn't a bad thing. Looking back now on how I used to think,
It was truly naive and ridiculous.
the truth is, not everyone in this world is a decent, normal person.
Ginchen, watch your mouth.
Chen Bingwen snapped at her, then gave me an apologetic smile. Jiang Man, I've completely spoiled my daughter. She's still just a kid. Please don't lower yourself to her level. The entire room, packed with Chen family relatives, held their collective breath. Not a single person dared to make a sound. Their eyes darted back and forth between Chen Menyuan and me. A tense, eerie silence fell over the room, but Chen Shu wouldn't let it go. Dad, she whined.
I'm not wrong.
The fact that you're even willing to be with her
Means she should be thanking her lucky stars.
You work at a state-owned enterprise. And you're a director. How can she, a petty little private business owner, even compare to you? Well, this petty private business owner...
Makes 10 times Chen Mingwen's monthly salary.
I glared coldly at Chen Mingwen. Is that what you think too? But I'm beneath you, and that I need to compensate your family for the privilege of marrying you? Embarrassed and enraged, Chen Mingwen shot me an annoyed glare.
Why are you arguing with a child? Aren't we making money for our children anyway?
Besides, you don't plan on having any kids of your own. King Kyung is our only child. If we don't give the money to her, are we supposed to take it to our graves? Moreover, Chen is ambitious. Wanting to study abroad is a good thing. Once she makes it big in the future, do you really think she won't take care of you? He rattled on and on, practically foaming at the mouth as he spoke. The more I listened, the colder my heart grew. And slowly, the harsh reality began to sink in. Chen Mingwen knew I was an only child, and that I wanted to stay childless. He and his daughter were trying to bleed me dry. All his past gentleness and affection were nothing but an act. His only goal was to trick me into marrying him, now that he thinks it's a done deal. He's finally showing his true colors. What a calculating snake. What a disgusting piece of trash. Chen Changxian stood there with her hands on her hips, looking utterly smug. Exactly. You two are going to rely on me when you get old anyway. Sending me to study abroad is a value investment. Don't you get it? My face remained cold, and I didn't even deign to look at her. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm only 10 years older than you. With the way you stay up late every single night and stuff your face with junk food, you're definitely going to kick the bucket before me. The moment those words left my mouth, it was like I had poked a hornet's nest. Chen's parents instantly sprang up from the sofa, and Chen Bingwen's face darkened with anger too. Jiang Man, what kind of utter nonsense are you spouting? How dare you curse my granddaughter? Is there any stepmother in this world as wicked as you? Just as I thought. Stepmothers are all pure evil.
真前燕秋出 herself， 应个签名远上子，漏今年快递有古句一句。
Wow, Dad?
She's bullying me. She dares to treat me like this, right in front of all of you. Who knows what she'll do to me when you're not around? She'll probably be just like those wicked stepmothers on TV, starving me, leaving me with nothing to wear, and beating me up.
Wow.
Now, I've never been someone with a sweet temper. The only reason I was polite to Chen Chen before is purely because Chen Mingwen used to eagerly run over to cook for me all the time. Respect is a two-way street. If you respect me, I will respect you tenfold. But if you mess with me, I will strike back twice as hard. What a total joke. The brain like yours, you must have gone to some diploma mill. With your IQ, you actually want to study abroad? You're 22 years old, not 2. Don't you have your own hands and feet? Were you expecting me to dress you and spoon-feed you? Before I became your stepmother, how did you get by? How did you even manage to grow up? What a filthy mouth you have.
金钱卷无 selfish， 虚不差别的信息桑。
She had always been a spoiled little tyrant at home, and had never been scolded like this in her life. Her fake tears instantly turned into real ones. Clinging to Chen Minwan,
She sobbed so hard she could barely breathe.
Wow, Dad!
Wow. Chen Mingwen gritted his teeth in pure rage.
His face twisted in rage. Jiang, don't you dare forget. We only had the wedding ceremony, but we haven't officially registered our marriage yet. I order you to apologize to Chen Qian right now. Otherwise, I'm not signing those marriage papers. This wedding is officially on hold.
真全剧我想买安藤楼的。
But she still managed to look up.
Sobbing, she choked out. A verbal apology isn't enough.
She has to pay me 500,000 yuan as an apology fee.
Chen's parents' eyes lit up instantly. That's right.
That 500,000 is absolutely necessary.
Consider it compensation for mental distress. Our Kunyan has never been insulted like this before. She has suffered so much today.
The expressions on the faces of the watching relatives became incredibly hard to describe.
Many of them looked at me as if I were a complete idiot. Their eyes seemed to say, if you actually agree to this, you will be the biggest fool on earth. Of course, I was no fool. I ripped the wedding ring off my finger and threw it right in Chen Mingwen's face.
You think I care? The wedding is off.
Did you honestly think I wanted to marry you?
You shameless, freeloading scumbag.
Get the hell out of my sight. Chen Mingwen was shocked and furious. He stood there, jaw dropped in disbelief.
Jiang Man, don't you forget.
You have already booked the banquet hall, and you paid for everything. 30 tables. That is a whole 150,000 yuan. This is your second marriage. If you get dumped again,
You can forget about ever finding a decent man in this lifetime.
even a lowly old bachelor in some remote village would reject a twice-divorced woman like you. Chen's parents were just ordinary workers, living on meager pensions. That were barely enough to cover their own expenses. As while Chen Mingwen's salary wasn't low, taking home around 20,000 yen a month,
He spent money like water.
on top of that, he had a daughter to support. Over the years, he hadn't saved a single dime. When it came to paying for the wedding, he had timidly asked me if we could just host the ceremony in his rural village. I felt bad for him, knowing how hard it was to make a living. So with a generous wave of my hand, I said, "Don't worry about the wedding banquet. I'll pay for it myself."
Little did I know, this would become the very leverage Chen Mingwen used to walk all over me.
He actually believed I was head over heels in love with him, and that I was willing to sacrifice absolutely everything for him. What he didn't realize was that to me, over 100,000 yuan was just pocket change. Even Chen himself didn't believe I actually had the guts to call it off and leave. With his hands on his hips, he sneered contemptuously. What a joke! Who do you think you're trying to threaten? Son, you don't understand women. She's just trying to threaten you with a divorce, just to show you who's boss. The louder they scream, the more terrified they actually are.
Don't let her loudmouth fool you.
Deep down, she's scared to death. If a woman gets divorced twice, what hope does she have left in life? Once she leaves you, she'll never find another catch like you again. After all, men only get more desirable as they age. But once a woman passes 30, she's just a wrinkled old hag. This speech was music to Chen Mingwen's ears. Puffed out his chest, looking instantly more confident. Jumba, use your head. If you call off the wedding now, the relatives' gossip and judgment will drown you alive. But it's different for a man. A divorced woman is like trash on the street, while a divorced man is a prized treasure.
Now hurry up and apologize to Chen Qian.
If you keep wasting time, we'll miss the auspicious hour. Both of my parents are business people, and having grown up by their side,
I always considered myself quite sharp-tongued.
but when dealing with the Chen family, I constantly find myself completely speechless at their sheer audacity. I seriously wonder who gave Chen Mingwen this level of delusion. Without even giving him a single glance, I pulled out my phone and called my mom. Hey, Ma, the wedding is off. Their greed knows no bounds. They're demanding $4 million just to call me mom. And if I don't pay up, they're threatening to cancel the wedding banquet. All right, fine. Cancel all the groom's side tables. Serve all the food to the bride's side instead. We'll just treat it as a nice dinner for our own family and friends.
Chen Mingwen's face instantly went pale.
Chimchixi grabbed him tightly. Dad! She's definitely faking that call just to scare you. Hey,
Jiang, how dare you slander us like this?
when did I ever ask you for $4 million?
Since she wants to do the math,
I'll lay it all out for her. You wanted me to pay for your studies in the United Kingdom. That's at least $3 million. My car is worth over $600,000. Plus the $500,000 you just demanded in damages. Doesn't that add up to exactly $4 million? Chansixi's eyes flickered with guilt. My dad said you make millions of dollars a year. This pocket change shouldn't mean anything to you. If you won't even spend money on me,
what right do you have to be my mother?
I looked at her as if she were a piece of trash and disgustedly took 2 steps back. I'm sorry, but I'm still young. But
I couldn't possibly have given birth to a giant child like you.
if you're looking for a mother,
Go find her in Shenzhen.
I heard she's still working assembly lines at some electronics factory. Since you're such a dutiful daughter, hurry up and go show her some respect. Go help her screw in some bolts. Seeing that I was completely unfazed, Jiang Man finally lost his temper.
Jiang Man, don't you dare regret this.
If you dare walk out of that door today, marrying me won't be so easy next time. Chen's parents also stood by, glaring at me. That's right, unless you had a luxury villa to your dowry, the system of unigraction, and put it under my son's name. You also have to buy Sixie a luxury high-rise apartment downtown. Otherwise, this wedding is off.
1060 looked incredibly smug.
He cast a contemptuous glance my way. Fifth to say, scared now, aren't you? Honestly, I was a little scared. If he hadn't pulled this stunt today, we would have gone to get our marriage certificate registered this afternoon, right after the banquet. With how absolutely shameless the Chen family is. If we had actually signed those papers, they would have bled me dry. It's terrifying to even think about. I was just one step away from jumping straight into a fiery pit. I spun around and called out to the Chen family relatives who were staring wide-eyed. Everyone, be my witness! My wedding with Chen Mingwen is completely off. From now on, we have absolutely nothing to do with each other. If you still want your wedding feast, just have the Chens pick up the tab. After all, we're complete strangers now. And there's no way in hell I'm paying for their dinner. Without even waiting to see the priceless looks on their faces, I turned on my heel and headed straight for the exit.
Chen Mingwen tried to chase after me,
but Chen Changqiu and grabbed him. Dad! If you chase after her, you lose. She wouldn't dare actually walk out that door. She's just bluffing. I almost laughed out loud when I heard that. Excuse me, can you let me through? The man standing in front of me in the best man suit was Zhou Chiquan, Chen Mingwen's colleague. I heard he's a newly minted PhD graduate who just finished his degree this year, and only 27 years old. He's young, promising, and incredibly handsome. He had been so engrossed in watching the drama unfold, he didn't even realize I was standing right in front of him. Once I stepped outside, I could still hear Chen Chenyan's real voice screaming, "Dad, she's just trying to scare you." She would never actually get into the elevator. After that, their voices faded away. As soon as I got downstairs, I blocked and deleted every single way of contacting Chen Mingwen. But I had barely taken a few steps when I heard footsteps rushing up behind me. Zhou Chiquan caught up with me, completely out of breath, and flashed me a brilliant smile. "Want me to give you a ride, sis?" As for Zhou Jinchuan, he had left. Quite an impression on me, mostly because Chen Chen was absolutely obsessed with him. She was utterly, blindly obsessed. Just to get close to Zhou Jinchuan, she begged Chen Mingwen countless times to invite him out for dinner. At home, she is so incredibly lazy, she won't even lift a finger. Yet, she is willing to cook love bento boxes for Zhou Jinchuan every single day. When Zhou Jinchuan rejected them to avoid rumors, she literally made over a dozen portions, handing one out to every single person in his department. Chen Mingwen was incredibly jealous of this. Even Chen Xixie's decision to study abroad was all because of Zhou Jinchuan. She claimed that Zhou Jinchuan only likes highly educated women. Talk about a hopeless romantic, truly a tragic masterpiece. I once tried to reason with Chen Mingwen, telling him that since Zhou Jinchuan obviously doesn't like Chen Xixie, why should she keep throwing herself at him?
签名用啊，佛六。
He even picked a massive fight with me over it. He stubbornly insisted his daughter is so outstanding, she could easily marry a literal prince.
这行找金款是就偏很多了。
Putting on a fake show of rejection while secretly being thrilled out of his mind. He even curled his lip in disgust as he spoke. This Zhou Jinchuan is an orphan. I heard he practically survived on charity. On top of that, he's just some country bumpkin. He studied all his life. Yet, he has no house, no car. King insists he's a rising star with great potential, but I wouldn't look at him twice. But what can I do? Zhou Chen is absolutely crazy about him. These famous men are like dry bones. Tasteless to chew on, yet a waste to throw away. How hilarious! He talks as if his own family is high society.
小金船啊，那么个儿甜。
As a PhD graduate recruited as top-tier talent. Right after graduation, his position was already at the same level as Chen Mingwen, who has been slaving away for over 10 years, and his salary is even a whole tier higher.
Zhou Jinchuan didn't look down on him.
Yet he has the nerve to look down on Zhou Jinchuan? Hey sis, my car is a bit small. Hope you won't mind. Zhou Jinchuan said, flashing a breathtakingly handsome smile. With his fair skin and bright smiling eyes, and that faint, charming dimple on his handsome face, he was practically bursting with youth and vibrant energy. Looking at a face like that, my anger suddenly just melted away, and he really wasn't kidding. This little electric car of his was absolutely tiny, squeezing his over 180-centimeter frame into the seat. His head was practically touching the roof. Snicker. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Zhou Jinchuan turned to me with a sheepish grin. My friends say driving this thing makes me look like I'm in a bumper car. He really liked to smile. And the entire way,
Zhou Jingquan wouldn't stop talking.
You were seriously so cool back there. When you were tearing in the Chen, I had to think of every single sad memory in my life, just to keep myself from laughing out loud. Seriously, I thought Chen Mingwen was shameless enough at the office. But I didn't think he'd be even worse in a relationship. And then there's that Chen. I've seriously tolerated her for way too long. Honestly, if I weren't co-workers with Chen Mingwen, I would have throttled them both by now. Like, how can a woman be so utterly delusional? Having just ended a 2-year relationship myself, I really wasn't in the mood to talk. But hearing Zhou Jingquan ramble on like this instantly piqued my curiosity. Oh? Exactly how delusional is she? And apparently Chen Sixi didn't just stalk him. She also spread rumors all over the office, claiming that she and Zhou Chuan were already dating, but that they were keeping it quiet because of work, and were just too shy to admit it. She even set her social media cover to a photo of him, and posted a status update every single time she cooked, writing stuff like, "Another day of cooking for my sweet hubby. Hubby's absolute favorite is my tomato milk soup. He says it's sweet and sour, just like me." It was a real shame I didn't have her on social media, or I could have enjoyed the show myself. She even went as far as leaving a photo album of herself right on his desk. A furious Zhou Jingquan ended up dumping the album right onto Chen Mingwen's desk instead. Whenever he came over, he would secretly put it back. If any female coworker at the office said more than 2 words to him, Ching Chun would rush up and scream at her, calling her a hoe wrecker. Over time, everyone at the office started to think Zhou Jingquan and Chen Jingchen were a couple. After all, in their eyes, no sane woman would ever go to such extremes. "Sis, my life is so miserable." My colleagues even ask me all the time, when they'll get to drink to my wedding with Chen Sixi. I'd rather drink pesticide than toast to a wedding with her. Because we shared a common enemy, Zhou Jingquan and I hit it off immediately. After venting to each other about how toxic the Chens were, the 2 of us had already exchanged WeChat info. When he dropped me off at my door, Zhou Jingquan seemed reluctant to leave. "Sis, can I treat you to dinner sometime when you're free? I feel like you're the only one who can tame a monster like Chen Sixi. I'd love to get some tips from you." When I got home, my parents were sitting together, absolutely spitting mad as they cursed out the Chens. When they finished, they looked at me with heartbreaking sorrow. "Our poor daughter has had such a miserable life. Why does she always end up with scumbags every time she gets married?" My mom tried to comfort herself, saying, "Third time's a charm. Maybe the third one will actually be a good guy." Looking at my parents, who were clearly heartbroken but trying so hard to act like nothing was wrong, I felt a sudden pang of sadness. My parents actually adore children. When they found out I wanted to be child-free, they still supported my decision because they loved me. They were willing to accept me no matter what. And now, I suddenly don't want to be child-free anymore. In a world this cutthroat, our family's massive fortune is like a juicy piece of meat. All our relatives and friends are watching us like hungry wolves, just waiting to tear off a piece. That Chen Mingwen had bragged at work more than once about how rich his girlfriend was. Not only is she loaded, but she's also an only child. I had married him? To me, 300's repper. All of our houses and money would have ended up being his. Mom, Dad, I don't want to get married anymore, but I do want a child. My dad was so excited he practically jumped out of his seat. You. I'm so glad you finally come to your senses. Your mom was so happy she was wiping away tears. It's good that you've seen the light. Even though women have to suffer a lot to give birth, our family has plenty of money. You'll go to the best hospital, stay at the best postpartum care center, and we hire 2 nannies once the baby is born. On top of that, with Mom and Dad keeping an eye on things, you won't have to worry about a single thing, my daughter. Raising a child is actually a very happy experience, and journey is really fun too. You'll slowly start to realize it yourself. Much to my surprise, Chen Mingyuan didn't even come to make a scene. The wedding banquet fell through, and his friends and relatives made the trip for absolutely nothing. But surprisingly, nobody was angry. Instead, they were eagerly gossiping about this once-in-a-lifetime drama. Zhou Jingquan acted as my inside source, constantly keeping me updated on the Chen family's latest movements. My coworkers at the office were laughing their heads off behind his back. Nobody liked Chen Mingwen anyway, and they were all saying he almost hit the jackpot and got to live the easy life. Thank goodness the bride finally opened her eyes. Chen Mingwen was completely clueless about all of this and was still full of confidence, waiting for me to crawl back and apologize. He had even picked out the hotel to reschedule the wedding banquet. It was at the city's only 6-star hotel, where even the cheapest table cost over 8,000 yuan. No one at work had any idea where he got that kind of confidence.
Gilma, I don't think it's just Chen Mingwen who is out of his mind.
The Chen parents are just as crazy. His mother said she wanted her own brother to work as a general manager at your dad's company. And his father, is even more ridiculous. He wants to send his grandmother from the countryside to your house to be a nanny. He said his demands aren't high. She just needs a monthly salary of 30,000 yuan. Oh my gosh, his grandmother is in her 80s. Thank goodness you broke up with him. Otherwise, if you got stuck with that family, all his broke relatives will swarm us like flies. As Zhou Jingchuan and I grew closer, he stopped calling me sis and started calling me by my name. Hung out and grabbed dinner together a lot. The more we talked, the more we clicked. Before we parted ways one evening, Zhou Jingchuan took a deep breath and looked at me, all nervous and anxious. Jiang Man, do you want to drive the Chens absolutely insane? I narrowed my eyes, sizing up skeptically.
啊，这要进狂摔这是还
Looking like he was ready to risk it all. How about we start dating? My eyes widened in shock.
周金焕 panicked a little.
A head dropping lower and lower. I mean, a fake relationship.
朱金传，你是一个锦脸。
With how obsessed Chen is with him, if she finds out we're dating, she'll go absolutely ballistic on the spot. Plus, Chen Mingwen kept saying that without him, I'd end up with some broke, disabled old guy from the countryside. Well, now I've got Zhou Jingchuan. He's taller, handsomer, younger, and has a much brighter future. If this doesn't eat him alive, nothing will. The next day, I drove my dad's brand new G-Wagon, dressed to the nines, and stood outside the Design Institute waiting for Zhou Jingchuan to finish work. A lot of people there recognized me and started whispering around the entrance. Holy crap, no way. Is a gorgeous, rich girl like her actually coming back for Chen Mingwen? Don't tell me he was actually right. It's so frustrating. A cheap, shameless guy like him. How does he get a girl like her to fall for him? Must be his Oscar-worthy acting skills. I didn't have to wait long. But instead of Zhou Jingchuan, I ran into Chen Mingyong and Chen Chenchen. Yep. Chen had come to the Design Institute to harass Zhou Jingchuan again. Left with no choice, Zhou Jingchuan had to fake a stomachache and hide in the bathroom all day. When Chen Mingwen saw me, his eyes lit up. The smugness was practically dripping off his face.
Chen Jinshu had her nose turned up to the sky too.
She gave me a contemptuous snort and called out, "Dad, that mangy dog is here."
Shang Mingwen gave her a playful tap, pretending to be displeased.
Watch your mouth. Since your Aunt John finally realized she was wrong, we should at least show her some respect. With that, he puffed out his chest like a victorious general returning from battle and trotted right over to me. Chen Mingwen looked down his nose at me, sizing me up, before his eyes finally settled on my fair collarbones. His throat tightened, and he frowned slightly with disapproval. Jiang Man, I know you're trying to please me, but this dress is way too revealing. You're not allowed to dress like this, ever again.
全抢天柔的儿，少分。
How shameless, dressing up like that just to hook a man. Chen Mingwen gave her a half-hearted warning glance before changing the subject. Is this car new? Did you buy it for me? It seems you really do know you messed up. Fine. As a man, I should be the bigger person. I shouldn't hold a grudge against a woman. I suppose I'll reluctantly accept the car. As he spoke, he reached out to snatch the car keys right from my hand. Just then, Zhou Jingchuan strolled out of the main entrance. I shouldered Chen Mingwen right out of the way, without giving him so much as a glance, and ran toward Zhou Jingchuan with a bright smile. Ah, Wan! I've been waiting for you for so long! I threw myself into Zhou Jingquan's arms, wrapping my arms around his waist and acting coy. Why did you get off work so late today? I'm absolutely starving. Zhou Jingquan's face instantly flushed crimson, looking like he'd just eaten a whole bowl of ghost peppers. He held me awkwardly, stammering, before I took his hand and enthusiastically linked my arm through his. Did you forget today is our 10-day anniversary? I booked a table at Xinrongji. Come on, let's go eat. The jaws of the onlookers hit the floor in sheer disbelief. But no one was more shocked than Chen Mingwen and Chen Chenchen. The moment Chen Chenchen realized what was happening, she let out a piercing shriek and charged straight at me like a sprinter on a 100-meter dash. Oh, you bitch. You miserable homewrecker. I'll kill you. But before she could even lay a finger on me, Zhou Jingquan shoved her aside. He pulled me tightly into his chest, shielding me. His eyes filled with deep tenderness. Touch my girlfriend again, and see what happens? This guy usually wears a goofy grin all day long, but seeing him suddenly get so fierce was actually kind of hot. Even Chen Chenchen was momentarily dazed by how handsome he looked. But when his words finally sunk in, her heart shattered into a million pieces. You. If she's your girlfriend, then what on earth am I? By now, a crowd of employees leaving work had gathered around us, their eyes practically glowing with excitement. Nobody even wanted to go home anymore. Even the security guards, pretending to keep the peace, slyly barged their way right to the front row to watch the drama. Finally losing his temper, Shou Jingchuan snapped. Are you completely insane? Or just pathetic and boy crazy?
亲欠抢险 I've tolerated 有当3次未度量
I told you 1,000 times. Think, stop harassing me. Do you not speak human? Or are you just deaf? Chen Mingwen was absolutely livid, his entire body shaking with rage. With a sudden, furious roar, he swung a wild punch right at Zhou Jingquan's face. How dare you steal my woman? I'll kill you, you bastard.
周金款 effortlessly 吐得走了3代
Sending Chen Minwen stumbling forward, losing his balance, and face panting hard right onto the concrete. Watching Zhou Qing's incredibly smooth, effortless moves, my heart skipped a beat. Damn. Has this guy actually had martial arts training? And just like that, he was flat on the ground.
三拳就擒，拖着的步，坏当到个。
Flashed around, slapping her thighs, and wailed at the top of her lungs.
哇，有就成。
You're heartless, cheating bastard. You actually hit my dad. All for some old woman? What is so great about that old hag anyway? Are you freaking blind? She is a whole 10 years older than me.
周金款蓝老着口冒听了
Jiang Man is way more beautiful than you. Far more capable. Smarter. Richer. And her character is 1,000 times classier than yours. You actually dare to compare yourself to her? Please! If you don't have a mirror at home, you could at least use your own piss to see what you look like. What's so great about being young anyway? Who hasn't been young before? But have you ever been rich? Have you ever even been pretty? You don't even qualify as a normal human being. You harass me every single day with your psycho messages. I've already blocked hundreds of your fake accounts. If you're out of your mind, stay inside instead of terrorizing everyone else. And you even stole hundreds of pens from my desk. Even tried to steal my design drafts. What are you? A sewer rat in disguise? Zhou Jingchuan was on a savage roll, firing insults like a rapid-fire machine gun, blasting Chen Chengyan until her head was spinning. The crowd of onlookers stood frozen in shock as they listened to his epic rant. Wait, so Chen Chun isn't actually Zhou Jingquan's girlfriend? Oh my gosh, and she even stole his designs? If anyone stole my designs, I would literally murder them. Hu Jinchuan, he's got it so rough. I guess being that handsome really does come with side effects. That is terrifying. Being stalked by a woman like that would give anyone daily nightmares. I couldn't help but feel a sudden wave of pity. He sounds like one incredibly miserable guy. Back when Chen Mingwan was pursuing me, he'd at least put on the act of a perfect, devoted gentleman. He wouldn't dare take a single step without my permission, always coming up with new ways to make me happy, even though things ended with me getting hurt a bit. The ride itself was at least enjoyable.
But Chen Chenghyun is a total certified psycho.
She's been haunting Zhou Jingquan like a relentless ghost, someone you can't beat and can't even shake off. As the crowd whispers and points,
拳拳可显废水，君子过继，螳螂烤了。
her lips tremble uncontrollably. She suddenly leaps up, screaming hysterically. It's you! You cheap trap! You seduced my husband! I'm going to kill you! Screaming, I'll kill you! She lunges at me, but before she can even get close, Zhou Jingquan kicks her aside once again.
拳拳献去，靴子了弗洛，喊，蓝得发老了。
She covers her face and bursts into hysterical tears, sucking so hard her entire body shakes. She looks absolutely pathetic. The definition of miserable. Finally, Chen Miguan stands up, limping his way over to Chen Chen Chen. With a dark, furious face, he pulls her up to leave, muttering, Qinqian, let's go home first. Under the mocking, disgusted stares of the crowd, the two of them scramble to leave in utter humiliation. They slink away, looking exactly like beaten, homeless dogs. Watching them flee feels as incredibly refreshing as gulping down a massive bowl of iced sweet soup on a scorching summer day. In one word, glorious.
东京款是一个下地。
Throughout dinner, he can't wipe the grin off his face until he gets a text message. Instantly, his smile freezes on his lips.
九井款还把特欠钱欠下。
But that psycho just wouldn't stop. Every time she got blocked, she'd create new accounts, posing as his relatives or friends to add him back. From middle school classmates to high school teachers and even former colleagues. How she dug up all that info is beyond me. Eventually, out of sheer exhaustion, Zhou Jingquan stopped blocking her altogether and just muted her notifications instead. The text is a screenshot of Chen Mingwen posting in the company group chat, claiming that the two of us were just putting on an act. He wrote, "They're just trying to make you jealous, so you'll crawl back to her, beg for forgiveness." He even boasted, "She's so desperate for you, she'll literally do anything to get your attention." Suddenly, the delicious wild yellow croaker in front of me loses all its flavor. I look up, my eyes boring into Zhou Jingquan with cold irritation. You know, if you really can't handle this, should we just pay someone to make her disappear? Zhou Jingquan's face looked like he had just swallowed a fly. He held his phone right up to my face, and Chen Chan's message caught me completely off guard.
Hubby, you such a troublemaker. If Dad hadn't realized you guys were just acting, I almost fell for your little trick. I know you're just testing my love for you. No matter how much you yell at me or try to make me jealous with other people, I will never, ever leave you. I understand you. You grew up without parents, so you don't feel secure. The more you like someone, the harder you try to push them away. You're just constantly testing me to make sure that I really love you. Don't worry, I won't let you down. After reading the message, I suffered a massive wave of mental trauma, and Zhou Jingquan had been dealing with this kind of trauma for months.
邱军管，注意是放雷子。
Looked me dead in the eye and said, Jiang Man, let's get married. Will you please take me in? I'll sign a prenup with you. And I won't touch a single penny of your money. If we have kids, they can all take your last name. Heck, I can even take your last name. I'm willing to move into your place and live with your parents. I don't have parents of my own, so we don't have to spend holidays with my family. We can spend every single holiday with yours. I'll do all the chores and hand over my entire salary to you. Please, just think about it. Honestly, these terms made my heart skip a beat.
Zhou Jingquan is 186 centimeters tall,
Extremely handsome, and a PhD student from a top-tier university. With such amazing genes, no parents to deal with, kids taking my last name, and him even being willing to sign a prenup without touching a single dime of my money. I wiped the drool from my mouth and reluctantly tore my eyes away from his drop-dead gorgeous face. Zhou Xuan, I can't take advantage of you like this poor guy. Just look at how hard Qin Shenshen pushed him. He's so miserable.
周金款斗个地冠，
And pressed on. I'm not being forced by her. I really like you. If you're willing, we can get married right away. If we get married and you realize you don't like me, we can get a divorce whenever you want. You'll get custody of the kids, and I'll walk away with absolutely nothing. I can put all of these terms in a prenuptial agreement. I have a classmate who works at the notary office. We can go find him and get it notarized as soon as we sign it. I'm a businesswoman. When such a guaranteed, risk-free deal lands right on my lap, there's absolutely no reason to pass it up. I wiped my mouth, put on a serious face, and extended my hand. Deal. To slap Chen Mingwan's face. The wedding was planned to be incredibly grand. We booked a banquet at his absolute dream 6-star hotel, with tables costing 10 to 20,000 yuan each. When Zhou Qingquan handed out the wedding invitations to his colleagues at work, everyone thought he was joking. Chen Bingwan had the biggest reaction. He stared at the invitation, looking it up and down, left and right. As he kept looking, he suddenly burst into a hysterical laugh. He laughed so hard that tears came to his eyes. So, this woman wanted to give me a surprise after all. She even upgraded the liquor to Mao Tai and increased the tables to 50. Wow, she clearly loves me to death. Yet she insists on using a fake name just to make me jealous. Oh well, whatever. She's my woman, so I might as well spoil her. Zhou Jingquan was completely dumbfounded. He stared at him in utter disbelief. What do you mean? Do you think our wedding is fake? Chen Minwan gave a knowing smile. No. The wedding is very real. But you're just a fake. Zhao Mac actually wants to trick me into going to the wedding just to marry me. After a long silence, Zhou Jingquan let out a long breath. Then make sure you come to the wedding. Chen Mingwan puffed out his chest, looking utterly smug. Of course I'll be there. After all, the groom can't miss his own wedding. The day before the wedding, Jun Jiawan and I went to get our marriage certificate. Staring at those bright red marriage certificates,
周军款的挨得磨得不不皮而重。
he pulled me into a tight embrace, burying his face in my shoulder. Jiang Man, I finally have a home. My parents were even more thrilled than he was. To my mom, her new son-in-law was absolutely perfect. With a wave of her hand, my mom said, Chuan, you're so sincere. We can't let you feel shortchanged. As long as you two give us a baby, Mom will give you that luxury apartment downtown as a gift. Zhou Jingquan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Mom, we'll have kids eventually. But I don't need the apartment. I want to live with you guys. Why would I need another house? Amidst our family's intense and exciting preparations, the wedding day finally arrived. The banquet was incredibly grand and luxurious. A world of difference compared to before. Getting my makeup done and putting on my wedding gown, I was completely overwhelmed and dizzy from all the rushing, totally forgetting about the Chen family. It wasn't until I changed into my reception dress and was walking hand in hand with Zhou Jingquan to toast our guests table by table, and I saw livid Chen Mingwen sitting at the table with Zhou's colleagues. I was utterly shocked. What are you doing here? Oh, wait. It actually makes sense for him to be here. But why is he so quiet?
只有金框的逃离可能猴得一天楼啷个。
They burst out laughing. He honestly thought you guys were just putting on an act.
Seeing that the name on the invitation wasn't changed.
He claimed it was all a stunt to force him to crawl back to you.
But then you two walked up on stage to exchange rings. He sneers. Wow, you two are really putting on a realistic show. And then we start raising our glasses to toast the guests. He barks. Let's see how long you can keep up this act. I'm honestly at a loss for words at his sheer audacity. Giving Chen Mingwan a look of pure disbelief, I ask, who do you think you are? The center of the universe? And the whole world revolves around you?
Just to fool you.
I went through all the trouble of hosting such a massive, expensive banquet.
Do you have any idea how much today's banquet even costs?
Joey John burst out laughing. Old Chen.
Today is a joyous day, so I won't say much.
But thank you for letting me meet such a wonderful girl like Jiang Man.
Chen Mingwan finally snaps.
He lets out a furious roar and leaps up from his seat.
I'm going to destroy you both.
But cutting through his raspy, furious roar is a woman's piercing shriek.
You homewrecker! You cheap bitch! Along with a pungent, burning smell, something is splashed right toward my face. At that exact second, Chen Mingwen had already lunged right in front of me.
又尽管于亚静的来临袭避，
Shops himself in front of me and pushes, spinning Chen Mingwan right into the path of the spray.
Chen Mingwan instantly clutches his face.
Letting out a blood-curdling, agonizing scream. It turns out, he was hit dead on by the acid Chen Zixi threw. Suddenly, the crowd's amusement vanishes entirely.
Everyone panics, scrambling to call the police, dialing 120 for an ambulance, trying to keep order, and tackling Chen Zixi to the ground. That acid, it was aimed straight for my face. I stare down at Chen Zixi, who is pinned to the floor,
And a wave of pure, unadulterated rage washes over me. Losing all restraint,
I grab her by the hair.
and start furiously slapping her across the face.
Take this, you absolute psycho.
You delusional boy-crazy psycho! Have you seriously never seen a man in your entire life?
My relatives swarm in as well.
Throwing punches and kicks at Chen's parents. How dare you throw acid at our precious girl?
We'll beat you to death.
My 80-year-old grandmother is absolutely furious.
She grabbed a wine bottle, rushed up, and smashed it right over the back of Chen Chengyan's head.
I'm going to beat you to death today. Even if this old lady has to pay with her life, you're going down. I was so terrified that I grabbed her right away. All our pent-up rage completely boiled over. Grandma, calm down. Please, let's calm down. The whole banquet hall descended into absolute chaos. Even when the police arrived, they could barely pull my furious relatives away.
We all ended up at the police station, writing statements until midnight.
Then, the hospital results came back.
Chen Mingwan was completely disfigured.
His injuries were severe enough to be classified as grievous bodily harm, and Chen Chunyan was facing a prison sentence for intentional assault. Even though the two of them took a massive beating from my family, it turned out to be mostly minor cuts and bruises. Think, our family only had to pay a few thousand yuan in medical bills.
The Design Institute fired Chen Minwian.
They said if he hadn't kept bringing his daughter to the office,
None of this mess would have happened.
he even condoned his daughter stealing Zhou Jingquan's design drafts. Not making him pay damages was already showing him mercy. Overnight, Qin Mingwen lost his job, lost his health, and lost his looks. When the court's final verdict came out,
千全千，我三德是抬举的学苗。
I heard that was only because Chen Mingwen signed a letter of forgiveness for her.
Who threw massive tantrums in prison, demanding that Zhou Jingquan come see her. Of course, Zhou Jingquan wouldn't
Bother with her. From then on, I never saw anyone from the Chen family again. According to my colleagues at the Design Institute,
10 families sold their house and hid away in the countryside.
Chen Mingwen couldn't bear to look at his own face, refusing to take a single step out of his room. And because of this, the family grew to absolutely despise Chen Chenchen ever since she went to prison. They hadn't visited her even once, but none of this had anything to do with me anymore. To me,
We were just fleeting passersby in my life.
who has the time to look back at them? I looked down and gently stroked my slightly rounded belly. A happy smile spread across my face. Inside me, a new life was quietly growing.